Let's go, boys. Final Fantasy XIV?
Don, this game has been out for years. Why are we only playing it now?
Well, they just had a new expansion with a graphic overhaul. Now it has the best graphics, the very best, and I only play the very best.
It does look nice.
Look at these character models. I want to play something strong like this Highlander.
Well, since this is a fantasy game and apparently we're only making one character, I'd rather we don't play a human.
I want to be a cat boy.
Those cat boys look too scrawny. Perfect for you maybe, Sleepy Joe, but I want to play something that looks as strong as I am smart. And we all know I'm very smart.
Is that a race of children or just small people? They look like children.
Obviously, they wanted a class that would appeal to Dr. Disrespect. Since Obama won't be a human, how about this guy? He looks like a strong version of one of Joe's cat boys.
He looks like a cat boy that never skipped leg day. But if Joe is okay with it, then so am I.
I guess it's like a cat. Looks a bit more like a lion, though.
Well, then maybe we're a lion. And once again, Donald Trump paves the way to compromise, just like my presidency, when I brought North Korea to the table and world peace in our time.
That's not exactly what happened. But speaking of compromise, why are we only making one character, Donald? It's an MMO. Shouldn't we each have our own character?
We only have one laptop, Obama.
Donald, you are a multi-billionaire. Just buy 2 more laptops.
Leave it to the left wing to immediately demand handouts. I'm not a bank, Barack, and besides, I think it's smart to use the free trial first and see if we even like the game.
Did you know that the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV has a free trial and includes...
Stop! Stop it, Joe. I don't need you spouting copy pasta at me. We're already trying the game.
Donald, what are you making?
Look at it, Obama. He's perfect.
He's red.
He looks like the American flag vomited all over him.
And he's perfect. Any true patriot would be pleased as peach to be painted in the puke of our national pride.
Nice alliteration.
Now we pick a class.
So I guess we're not even going to debate the color scheme for our character?
No more debates. Obama, let's be honest. You saw the debate last week. Neither of us wants to put Joe through that again. He barely survived as it is.
I had a cold, Donald. I'm not about to die.
That cold was the only thing keeping you alive? For heaven's sake, Joe, you look like a bleached potato up there. If you even make it to the next debate, it'll be a miracle.
Putting that aside, I want to play a class with magic since this is a fantasy game.
So you want to be a black mage?
Hardy har har, Donald. Very original. But no, I was thinking summoner. It'd be cool to be able to call forth powerful minions to my side in combat.
They fight with a book? No way, I'm running around Eorzea hitting monsters with a book like a demented Dr. Ratio. I'm going to pick this class because it uses an axe. It's a very big and very strong weapon. The best weapon, the absolute best. It fits me perfectly.
Do you even listen to our input?
Don't worry, Barack. In Final Fantasy XIV, you can swap between jobs freely. It's actually a very flexible system.
There you go, Obama. When it's your turn to play, you can be a black mage summoner.
Did you just make that into a racial joke?
What? No. Maybe. No.
What is going on? Are we floating?
I think we were just born into the world, perfect as we are. Finally, a game realizes my greatness from the first moment.
Donald, I cannot believe the name you chose for us. Joe Obama Trump? Really?
It's a fine name, a strong name. I thought you'd be proud.
Why are Joe and my name combined and you get your own last name alone?
Because my last name is Trump.
What kind of argument is that?
A very Donald type of argument.
Let me put it this way, Brock. Is there an Obama Tower?
Actually, we're building an Obama Center in Chicago right now, so very soon, wait. Who is that in the red mask?
I don't know, but they're about to take an axe straight to the face from Eorzea's best warrior. The very best warrior.
Oh, it was a dream.
Yeah, looks like it. Interesting.
It doesn't change that I'm Eorzea's best warrior.
So we're on a ship now?
Why is there so much dialogue? This is a lot of talking, too much talking, if I'm being honest.
I don't think you have any leg to stand on, judging how much is too much talking.
And after seeing you at the debate, I'm not sure you have the leg power to stand at all anymore, Zombie Joe.
Zombie Joe? I can't believe I actually missed being called sleepy.
Are we under attack?
Finally, some action. Let me just get my trusty axe.
You really like that axe, don't you, Don?
Of course I do. You can trust an axe. It's sharp and strong. The weapon of great leaders such as Abraham Lincoln and now Donald Trump.
I don't think Lincoln used an axe as a weapon, Donald.
Of course he did. How else did he kill all those vampires?
That was a movie.
I know that it was a movie, and it was the most riveting documentary I've ever seen. A brilliant historical reference that should be shown in our public schools.
I don't even know if he's serious or not, Barack.
I don't even think it matters. Just nod and move on.
On a windswept isle in the southwestern corner of the realm, amidst the roiling waves of the Rotano Sea, lies the maritime city-state of Limsa, Lominsa. To this haven for bandits and brigands, cutthroats and curs, seekers of both freedom and fortune, comes a lone adventurer. What realm-shaking fate has she descried in the churning waters of this mortal's future?
Seriously, why is there so much talking? Can I just skip this?
Don't skip this, Donald. Some of us want to read it and understand what's going on.
You would want to read this, Obama? No wonder you wanted to play a class that uses a book as a weapon. Meanwhile, I have an axe and I want to fight. Bring it on.
My eyes aren't as good as they used to be, Barack. What have you learned so far?
Well, this city is called Limsa Lominsa, and it seems to be the home to former pirates trying to go straight. The soldiers in yellow are called Yellow Jackets.
Wow, Yellow Jackets, very original. England would be proud.
Anyway, Donald chose the axe, which makes him a marauder.
The very best marauder.
And now to prove that he's the very best, he's been tasked with killing dangerous creatures like some lambs and ladybugs.
A fitting task for someone of Donald's skill, I'm sure.
Zip it, Joe. Once I finish turning these sheep into mutton, they'll realize my talent and give me a real quest worthy of Donald J. Trump. Just watch. Here we go. That's the combat?
A little underwhelming, but maybe it gets better as you level.
Obama, this is more than a little underwhelming. It's just one button and a global cooldown. This is Joe on the debate stage levels of underwhelming.
I told you, I had a cold, you ass.
Well, then I'd say this combat has the plague.
What is with all these crabs? Don't worry, little child. Joe Obama Trump is here, axe in hand and ready to save you. Seriously, though, this is a lot of crabs. Are we on the streets of Baltimore now?
Isn't Boston known for crabs? I know Baltimore has an inner harbor too, but do they have crabs?
If you're hiring off the streets of inner Baltimore, I'd say they have more crabs than Boston.
Oh, you mean the other kind of crabs, not the seafood.
I think I just threw up a little in my mouth. Can we please change the subject? This is no way to start an episode.
Don't get all worked up, Barack. You're starting to sound like as much of a crybaby as this kid we just saved.
Donald, I have to ask, but I've noticed you sound a lot different from our last recording session.
I'm glad you noticed, Joe. My voice is a national treasure. Many say it is the greatest, most perfect voice in history.
No one says that.
And after listening to our first video, your video, my video, I realized that the headset I was using simply would not suffice. So for the sake of my adoring fans, I have purchased a new Turtle Beach headset, the very best Turtle Beach headset.
Not sponsored, just Donald being biased.
This isn't a bias, Obama. If you could hear how crisp and clear the audio from this headset is, and I have no doubt my voice will sound amazing now, with truly presidential pitch and rugged timbre.
You do sound better, as I already said. Just don't let it go to your head.
Ask something possible of him, Joe.
Oh, and now we're back to the talking. Seriously, the ratio of combat to chit-chat in this game is so off. This feels more like a casual Thursday in the Senate. Everyone has something to say and nothing gets done.
Donald, you do understand that this game is a story-based MMO, don't you? If you don't want to read the story, why did you even suggest we play?
I hate to admit it, but I do agree some with Donald here. Story-based or not, it does feel like we have been in nonstop cutscenes, and not even interesting ones, just exposition.
Am I the only one that enjoys the story? While I agree, this isn't that riveting yet. Every good story needs some setup. The story has to get better considering how popular this game has been.
Just like a blue-belly donkey to drag his feet and talk when action is needed. You had 8 years to do anything during your term, Barack, and nothing got done.
It's not my fault I had to fight Congress the entire time I was in office. And I wouldn't say nothing got done, unless you count the Affordable Health Care Act nothing.
I think we both know that I consider it nothing.
You walked into that one, Barack.
Getting back to the point, while I agree there is a lot of dialogue, I also think it's worth reading, and I expect the story to only get better, so don't skip. If you don't want to read it, Donald, you can always give me the laptop.
Fine, I won't skip, but I'm keeping the laptop for now. I want to see if the combat improves. I'm not ready to give up on my legacy as Eorzea's best warrior just yet.
I'm not really ready to take over myself, so you can have your turn next, Barack. In the meantime, I've been doing some research on the websites about the game, and the overall impression is that the story does get dramatically better. It just starts off slow and boring during the original vanilla release they call ARR.
Well, I have to agree about slow and boring. Very boring. I mean, is it just me, or do we have to talk to every single person? And most of the time, they act like Joe, just talking and talking with nothing to say.
Well, at least I don't lie every time I open my mouth like a certain other person here.
That's not really fair, Zombie Joe. Obama only lies about half the time. Don't paint him with such a negative light. Weren't you his vice president? Show a little loyalty.
He was talking about you, Donald. And given how Pence turned on you, I don't really think you have any right to call any other VP loyalty into question.
Look, just because Mike doesn't endorse me publicly doesn't mean he's not loyal. He was very loyal to me for 4 years. The most loyal. And it's not like I was going to pick him as my running mate again. He really doesn't bring much to the table. His conversations are more boring than this game's story so far.
That does sound pretty dull.
It was. All we ever talked about was his kid's stupid rabbit, the one they wrote a book about. The rest of the time, he was sitting off in the corner reading his Bible. The man has about as much charisma as a paperweight.
Changing the subject, what's going on now, Barack? I noticed that our character seems to be talking with a bunch of rugged-looking farmers now.
Farmers now, but formerly pirates. Much like the whole city of Lominsa, it seems this crew of cutthroats traded in pillaging the seas for tilling the soil. That said, some of the former crew aren't too happy about the choice and want to go back to being a pirate.
And who can blame them? While farming is an important staple in the vast American economy, it is often overlooked by the majority because it's boring. There's a reason that stories like Treasure Island are famous, and it has nothing to do with corn and carrots.
Well, anyway, now they've tasked us with investigating some nearby grotto.
Leave it to me and my axe, then. We'll solve this mystery and turn these farmers back into the cold-blooded buccaneers they were born to be.
Again, nice alliteration.
That's not the point, though, Don. Their leader is trying to rein in the mutineers, not encourage them.
Why am I not surprised? So far, this game has always chosen the most boring of two options. Of course, we'd want to encourage farming over pirates.
What is the mystery we're looking into, Barack?
Well, it seems there are people being kidnapped and disappearing. And it seems they're somehow involved with these farmers or their mutineers. So we're tasked to find out which or perhaps who it is, if not them.
Who kidnaps pirates anyway? Wow. Wow, don't tell Melania I said this, but I think I may be in love.
I don't think Melania would care.
If anything, she may be relieved.
Ah, you are the adventurer I've seen around Summerford Farms. I thought myself on the trail of the kidnappers, but it would seem I have missed my mark.
Suddenly, I find myself very interested in the story, the very best Catgirl story. Wait, what on... Is that a demented Kermit the Frog? Maybe Kermit has an inbred cousin.
Oh, I can see that. With his flappy head and scrawny arms. That's pretty good, Donald.
Yes, thank you for explaining the joke, Joe. My joke. Make sure all the slow-minded liberals can follow along.
And you wonder why we don't offer you compliments very often. Still, I do have to say you're handling this fight pretty well.
It's not hard, Joe. So far, I have 4 buttons, and I only ever have to use 2 of them. The game even highlights which one to use. Honestly, it's simple. Very simple. So simple even Jeb Bush could play this game and look smart.
Phew.
Well, that wasn't a very hard fight, but what is going on now?
Are we dreaming again? Why do all our dreams start with us floating?
Maybe we picked up some coke while we were visiting Baltimore earlier.
Donald, I don't think we should entertain jokes about drug use. There could be children watching us.
Oh, calm down, Obama. Joe's son isn't here, so no one is actually doing drugs. It was just a joke.
I'm going to pretend you didn't just drag Hunter into this, Don.
The way you pretend that he wasn't found guilty, Joe?
All right. Stop it, both of you. I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. Apparently, we had a vision of a giant crystal after our fight.
See this blade? I found it in the Gubu's back. It would appear our culprits are seafaring men of some persuasion, piratical being the most probable. The days ahead promise little rest, I fear. May our paths cross again, under the light of the crystal.
And Kermit's deranged cousin was attacking us because someone stabbed it in the back.
Why are you looking at me like that, Joe?
Well, I figured you'd be the person to know the most likely candidate for backstabbing.
I already told you, Mike Pence is still loyal.
Look out for those orange areas, Don. I think that indicates where the attacks will hit and you need to move out of them.
I've already figured that out, Sleepy Joe. This isn't my first giant rock monster that I've had to fight.
When did you ever... You know what? Never mind. I don't see how asking that will lead to anything productive.
And another victory for Eorzea's best warrior.
Those markers do add a bit more to the combat, it seems. Are you enjoying it more now, Donald?
Truthfully, very truthfully, not that much. I do see the potential now, but I don't believe the combat will be very thrilling until I have more abilities.
Then maybe I could have a turn, Donald? You have been in control of the laptop for a few days now.
Not yet. My cat waifu has returned, and I'm very interested in the story again. Wait a minute, are we having a seizure? Joe, is this what it's like when you have a seizure?
You know, I haven't had a seizure, but I think we're having another vision of some kind.
Another vision? What is going on? We've had at least 10 visions since we started this game. Is our character smoking some Zaza on the side or something?
This is only our 3rd vision, and this one seems to be a look into the past of some kind. I think there must be something special about our character that is making this happen. We'll just have to wait and find out what it is, I suppose.
Of course there's something important about us. We're Joe Obama Trump. With my axe in one hand and Catgirl waifu in my other arm, we'll become the pillar of strength that makes Eorzea great again.
That sounds like a movie poster from the 80s, Donald.
Some of the best movies, the very best. Anyway, here's the laptop, Obama. You can play for a while. I'm gonna go get a Diet Coke from the fridge.
Well, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth, especially when it's the mouth of Donald Trump. I've seen how he eats, and I doubt the smell of his breath is worth the risk. Time to try out Summoner.
I admit I am curious to see how this works. From what I understand, summoning has been a staple in the Final Fantasy series. Sometimes it's a playable class, but of late it's become something any character can do to a limited degree. It will be interesting to see how they play it out in this game.
I agree, Joe. And the fact that they use books for their weapons is unique too. I know Donald isn't a fan, but the idea has piqued my curiosity. So let's try this out. It looks like I can summon a carbuncle for now, so we'll try that out first.
That's a rather cute little creature to be named after a group of boils under your skin. I was not expecting that with the name Carbuncle.
All right, well, I need to level Summoner up a bit before I can continue the story where Donald left off.
I swear the first thing I'm doing when I take over the White House again is putting my Diet Coke button back into action. Why you ever removed it, I have no idea, Joe.
Don't tell me walking to the kitchen and back really wore you out that much.
Don't try to act like you could even make that walk yourself, Zombie Joe. We all know the Secret Service has to wheel you around on a moving dolly while you're inside the White House. It's amazing that FDR managed to walk more than you have during his term.
I can walk just fine, Donald. Thank you very much.
And you can fall even better. Anyway, while Obama has the laptop, I'm going to use my phone to check in on my ZZZ account.
Oh, is that the new game from Hoyoverse? Zenless Zone Zero, right? Have you been enjoying it? Do you play any other of their games?
I play Honkai Star Rail, so that's why I'm giving ZZZZ a chance. But honestly, this game is very mid. The most entertaining thing so far has been the drama between the content creators.
Wait, more drama? Didn't they have a bunch of drama for Genshin Impact 2?
They did, and I dare to say this has been even more wild. There have been people called snakes, betrayers, friendship abusers, and victims of Stockholm Syndrome. It's been absolutely chaotic. More chaotic than some of our own fights, Joe.
Why can't they all just get along?
Because they're humans, Joe. Humans are all victims of our own feelings and thoughts. We can only experience things from our own side of the story. And while some of the best of us may try to recognize and understand other viewpoints, the truth is that our own actions are most often driven by our own emotions and reasoning.
That's a little bleak, Donald.
Not bleak at all, Barack. There's always two sides of the same coin. While our self-made bias can create friction with others, it is also the same thing that helps us to find common ground with others. It's how we make friendships and learn to adapt and grow as well.
That is surprisingly deep insight from you, Don. I never thought I'd hear you say anything like that, given you tend to fight with so many people.
If someone brings the fight to me, then I'm not going to back down. I'll admit that. But at the same time, I believe the fact that I'm here, gaming with the two of you now, proves that I'm capable of putting aside the small differences to commit to true friendships. The most true friendships.
I'm a little speechless.
Yeah, that was a little out of left field. Since you think of us as such good friends, Donald, would you like to trade friend codes for Honkai Star Rail?
I'll pass, Sleepy Joe. What is going on in the story now, Obama? Is this city under attack?
Oh, you want to talk about Final Fantasy again? You two have been prattling on so long, I just assumed we were recording some kind of podcast now.
Aren't most of our episodes just podcasts? Do you really think anyone is watching the screen most of the time? They're just here to listen to Donald Trump make fun of a crippled old man and his begrudging caretaker.
So much for friendship, I guess. Regardless, what is going on in the game, Don, is that we found out who is kidnapping people from the outskirts of Lominsa. We also figured out where they were going to attack next, and so we were sent to help the Yellow Jackets defend the villagers, and that's the fight that is happening right now.
This actually looks like an interesting fight. More fun than the one big monster I've been fighting every time. Wait, is that blue thing you're summoned?
It is, yes.
So we gave up our majestic axe for a squirrel made of Listerine? This is a tragedy, an absolute tragedy. How can we possibly bring fear to our enemies with a baby blue chipmunk at our side?
It's actually fairly strong, Donald, and it's made of arcane magic from what I understand. Besides, who cares about bringing fear as long as we win the fight? Our reputation will speak for itself.
Fine. If you want to hide behind a book and a rodent to achieve victory, that's your choice. I'll just go back to finishing my dailies here in ZZZ. I'm very close to being able to roll on the banner, and I plan to bring Ellen Joe home.
Are you free to play, Donald? I would have figured that you'd spend a little when you have billions.
If I like the game, I buy the battle pass, Joe. But don't expect me to drop thousands of dollars on a gacha game like Darkside Phil on his sweaty wrestler JPEGs.
Wait, DSP? Does he still exist? I thought by now he'd have been laughed off the internet.
He's still around, Joe. He just exists off of e-begging the couple of hundred people that still watch him for money, which he then turns around and spends on a gacha game based on WWE wrestling.
When I hear stories like that, I realize that Much like drugs or gambling, gotcha games can become an addiction. It's really something that governments should consider regulating in the future.
You're not wrong, Joe, but at the same time, you can't completely limit people in America. This is the land of freedom, and that includes the freedom to make terrible decisions and become sad wastes of oxygen like DSP has done.
I suppose that's true, but if a little bit of regulation could spare people suffering, isn't it worth considering?
A complicated matter for sure. Damn it! I didn't get Ellen this time. Maybe I'll just spend a little money for one more pull.
My point exactly.
Is that the guy from the beginning of the game? The one with the red mask? Wait, no. His mask isn't red, just glowing? I think it's someone different.
Why is everything purple now?
Did he just summon a demon?
Now that is a summon. Makes your chipmunk look as pathetic as your presidency, Barack.
We'll see who's pathetic when I win the fight. Demon or not, Barack Obama does not back down from a challenge. I'll slap him around like I did Mitt Romney.
Teach it a lesson, Barack. Show no mercy.
Ha! And another victory for Joe Obama Trump.
I can admit you did a good job, Obama. Not as good as Eorzea's best warrior, but still a good job.
Backhanded as it is, thank you for the compliment, Donald.
Sure, Barack. On the more important and bright side, the very bright side, I finally got Ellen Joe, and it only cost me $50.
I thought you didn't wail on gotcha games, Donald.
And I thought you had memory problems, Joe. We're all learning something today.
Recognition for a job well done? What a wonderful and refreshing feeling that is.
Don't get too used to it, Obama. We had 8 years to see how you do a job well, and we can count success on fewer than 8 fingers. Far fewer.
And 4 years was enough for Americans to realize you can't do a job well at all, Donald. But smart-mouthed comments aside, I simply was referring to something we all can relate to, I'm sure. As presidents, we often spend at least half our time defending any and every choice we make. It's nice to, just this once, get to just bask in the appreciation for our deeds well done.
Oh, wow. Talk about being recognized, Barack. Even the Admiral is coming to praise you.
Unholy waffle tarts. That's the Admiral? Look at her, Joe. She looks like a Greek goddess carved straight from marble by Michelangelo himself. What a woman.
Donald, have you already forgotten about your Miko waifu?
Well, he forgot about Melania the minute Y'shtola showed up. His taste in women is both fickle and broad.
I can admire a beautiful woman without committing to some sort of relationship. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, after all. And when it comes to beauty, I have the sharpest eyes, the very sharpest eyes.
I'm not sure how sharp they are, Donald, but you certainly have the most roaming eyes.
If we have to have a discussion about every woman we meet in this game just because Donald can't keep his thoughts to himself, it's going to become a very long series.
Why am I being crucified just for appreciating the human body?
She's not really human, though, is she?
You'd be one to know, Joe. You've become some mix between a vampire and a sloth.
And you've remained a mix between a koala and an orange.
All right, children, drop it. We're heading into a formal banquet with the Admiral. And I swear if you two can't be civil during the dinner, I will turn this game right around and we'll all just go home.
Your dad's no fun, Sleepy Joe.
But, thanks to you, our citizens may once more go about their daily lives, safe in the knowledge that they will not be dragged into the darkness by those execrable curs.
Such an extraordinary glow. This is one of the crystals of light.
By the Navigator.
After our encounter with the Gubu, you had a vision, did you not, of a towering crystal. You bathed in her light.
Y'shtola's conclusion is clear, and I see no reason to doubt it. You are the vessel of a higher power. This being from your vision was the Mother Crystal. Your description matches what little we know of her. And if she has chosen you, then your deeds may yet shape the fate of nations. as once did the deeds of the warriors of light.
No! No, no! Not again. Really? Really? Why does this always happen? Every episode we have some kind of mental flashback, and then when we finally come back from our bewilderment, everyone looks at us like we're Boogie 2988 caught in another lie.
Why does that name sound familiar, Don?
Boogie? He's an OG YouTuber. Big fat guy played a character named Francis.
Oh, the nerd with the lisp that raged about video games. I remember those videos. They were pretty funny. What did you mean about him lying, though?
You haven't heard? It's been all over the internet lately. You see, Joe, Boogie has turned into a lol cow now. I could talk for 10 minutes about all the things he's done, but recently he got caught running a Bitcoin pump and dump to steal money from his last few remaining fans, claiming he needed the money for his cancer treatment, and then a few days later was caught lying about having cancer at all. He's fallen hard. And guess what? Now he's at the very, very bottom.
Why do you know so much about all these YouTubers' shortcomings and failings, Donald?
Schadenfreude?
No, it is nothing.
That's a surprisingly large word for you to know, Donald.
I know words. I have the best words.
Right. Well, while lying about cancer is among one of the worst things a person can do, why don't we focus on the story? Because it seems like we just witnessed a war that happened a few years ago. Maybe this is the calamity that got mentioned before, the thing where Eorzea nearly got destroyed.
I never heard of this calamity before, Barack. Are you making this up like Boogie made up cancer?
No, Donald, you simply haven't been paying attention to the story.
That is not true. I pay attention when my cat girl waifu is around. The very most attention.
Either way, early on there was mention about a calamity a few years back where some of Eorzea's best heroes were lost. I guess this vision is a look into that event. But it seems that the vision was so powerful this time that we never woke up that night. Fortunately, it seems we were taken to the inn and woke up there. Still, a little embarrassing.
I just realized that our character has muddled visions, loses track of what time and place they are in, and falls asleep at the worst possible times. Are we playing as Sleepy Joe?
I don't have that many problems with remembering where we are.
Joe's memory isn't as strong as it was in the past, but it's certainly not as bad as you're trying to paint it out to be, Donald.
Oh, Barack, why are you here? Wishing me luck before I go debate the windbag Donald over here. I'm going to knock him down a few pegs. There's no way he's getting 4 more years on my watch.
And we've lost him.
Joe, go get a glass of water. You look a little pale.
Good call, Barack. Don't want to lose my voice during the debate.
I know I make fun of him a lot, but sometimes I really do worry. Not enough to stop laughing at him, but a little. Very little. Truthfully, a bit more than very little, but not much more.
Where are the Cheetos?
They're right next to you, Zombie Joe.
Okay. Sounds like Joe's feeling better. So, anyway, Donald, it looks like we're getting to travel to other nations now as a messenger.
Well, I want to have my axe while we travel.
Where is the Diet Coke?
The Diet Coke, my Diet Coke, is in the fridge. Duh.
I'm getting a soda. Anyone else want a soda?
I want to take my axe while we travel.
You do realize this is going to be a lot of story and no fighting?
How will there be no fighting? We're going to have to travel a long time to get to other nations.
Actually, we're being given a permit for airship travel.
Hey, Barack, I'm not in the room, right?
What room, Joe?
The room where Donald's swinging his axe around.
He's not swinging his axe. He's just complaining.
Well, I could be swinging my axe around if you'd listen to me. But since we're being pampered, rightfully pampered, with an airship pass, I'll let you drag your sapphire weasel around instead. If we're lucky, it'll fall off the airship mid-flight.
We're on an airship?
Joe, stop yelling at us. Just get your snacks and come back over before you talk.
How is he managing to yell like that? Sleepy old Joe barely managed an audible whisper during our last debate. What is going on?
I'm back. I couldn't find the Diet Cokes, but there were some bottled waters, so I got one of those.
That's great, Joe. Are we all settled once more? Can we continue this story now?
Is this the airship? It's not much to look at compared to Air Force One, but for a fantasy story, I won't complain. Did you ever watch that movie, Joe?
What movie is that, Donald?
Air Force One with Harrison Ford. Great movie. Absolutely the greatest movie about being a president.
That movie had almost nothing to do with being a president, short of it being about Air Force One.
You're just upset because we all know that Harrison Ford would make a much better president than either of you two donkeys. He wouldn't be the best president, as I'm already the best president, but he'd be up there, right at the tippy top.
Tippy top? Why do you talk like a 4-year-old?
Why do you think like a 4-year-old, Joe? But seriously, you should watch that movie. It's fantastic. One of the best lines ever. Get off my plane.
Are you basing Harrison Ford being a good president off a movie, Donald? He's an actor. He was going off a script. While I agree that it's a very good movie, it isn't a fair indication of whether Harrison Ford would be a good president or not.
Let me ask you this, Barack. Did you ever fight a pack of terrorists trying to kidnap Air Force One mid-flight? Ever? No? Point made. Harrison Ford would have been a better president than you.
Can we stop talking about the movie? I may want to go watch it, and I'd rather not have any more spoiled than you two already have.
Don't worry, Grandpa Joe. We've already established that you'd forget everything we spoil anyway. But I've made my point. I stand firm on the knowledge that Harrison Ford would be among the very best of our ilk.
And we have another cutscene. I don't know who these people are. They don't look like that person that summoned a demon earlier.
Could they be the soldiers from that war you were telling us about? The one from the flashback?
Joe, how do you remember a detail that small, but you can't even remember the name of your current vice president?
I remember Vice President Trump. Wait, no, that's you. Putin. No, that's, Michelle.
That's my wife. Try again, Joe.
Oh, damn it, Kamala. Kamala Pelosi.
Close enough. So how are you doing, Donald?
Well, I got a good night's sleep. It's finally the last day of the RNC, and I have a Diet Coke and McDonald's breakfast. Overall, I'd say I'm good. Very good. Happy even. Happier than Dr. Disrespect hosting the Miss Teen USA pageant even.
Right. Well, I was worried because, well, you have had a very busy week.
Tell me about it. Why the Republican National Convention has to be a week-long event, I have no idea. I'm ready to get home to Mar-a-Lago and have some downtime.
Donald, I was trying to ask if you're all right after being shot at. Joe and I were worried about you. Are you sure you want to record today?
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. I won't lie, Obama, I feel very fortunate. I'm saddened by the loss we suffered from such a senseless event, and my heart and prayers go out to the people in the crowd, in my crowd, who were hurt. In all honesty, it was a scary moment.
You handled it like a real champ, though, Don.
That you did. And as you said, you're here now and moving on. We're just glad you're safe and all right. That said, I thought it'd be a nice show of unity today if we could all resist the urge to fight with each other.
So you mean no insulting each other? Do you hear that, Donald, or do you need Obama to say it in the not bandaged ear?
Very funny, Joe, but even with a full cast on one ear, I'd still be able to hear twice as well as your old floppy ears.
Gentlemen, what did I just say about not fighting today?
He started it.
Well, I'm ending it. What happened this week was proof enough that the rhetoric of late has become too assertive, too divisive. Just this once, I'd like us to get through a day without insulting each other. America needs this now.
Obama, you realize that asking me to not call Joe out on his shortcomings is like asking SS Sniper Wolf to make original content. It's just never going to happen.
Barack is right, though, Donald. Let's at least try. Besides, today is a day to celebrate that Eorzea still has its best warrior to defend it, right?
It's very best. You're right, Joe. All right, I'll try. Donald J. Trump will be a force for peace today. The most forceful force for peace.
All right, that's what I like to hear. Good for both of you.
So that breakfast smells pretty good, Donald.
It tastes even better. That's one of the reasons I like McDonald's so much. No matter where in the world I travel, my sausage egg biscuit tastes like a sausage egg biscuit.
Huh, I never really thought of that, but it's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, really, it can't be that hard for you two to have a civil conversation.
What do you want from me, Barack? If I can't make fun of someone while I'm talking, it's very hard to feel free to speak at all.
I just said don't make fun of each other. If you want to make fun of others, go for it. Heck, you two could insult someone together as a team. That'd be a form of unity, too.
Could we start with J.D. Vance?
My new vice president?
Candidate, VP candidate. You haven't won yet, Don, but yes, I couldn't help but notice that with his beard now, he looks an awful lot like both your sons, Eric and Don Jr.
Actually, I thought he looked a lot like what would happen if Eric ate Don Jr. He's a chunky boy.
Is that why you chose him, Don? Because you look a lot thinner standing next to him?
You're both right. He's definitely rocking that couch dad bod. But that's not why I chose him. Funny story, though, I did consider Ron DeSantis for a bit, just because standing next to him would make me look taller. So much more taller.
You almost chose DeSantis? I think we all dodged a bullet there. Oh, sorry, Donald. That was insensitive.
Not really, Barack. When it comes to bullet dodging, I've proven that Donald J. Trump is the best bullet dodger, the very best bullet dodger.
That's pretty good, Don, but back to JD. Why did you pick him?
Mostly from the urging of my son. He and Don Jr. have become quite the friends. They even had a sleepover last week. They were so loud playing Street Fighter VI, they woke Melania and I up a few times.
Aren't they both in their 40s? Who has a sleepover and stays up all night playing video games at that age?
And why were they staying over at your place?
They were using the PlayStation 5, my PlayStation 5, and we only have the one at Trump Tower.
Kind of like how you only have this one laptop?
I'm frugal, Obama. Sue me. Everyone else is.
I just realized we haven't talked at all about what's going on in the game.
I did notice that we were talking with people from that vision we had of the war. Are they the leaders of the other two nations?
I believe so. One was a blonde woman wearing all white. She leads Gridania, a nation that seems to be all about living in the forest.
So a bunch of tree huggers? What about that big guy with all the scars? He looked really impressive.
Leader of Ulda, I believe. Or maybe just their armed forces, as it was mentioned, that the nation is a sultanate. I don't think we met their actual leader.
With a soldier as fierce-looking as that scarred man, their leader must be intimidating. Very intimidating.
What are we doing now, Obama? Are you back in Limsa Lominsa?
I am. And it seems we're being recruited to explore a dungeon and take out the rest of those kidnappers we were dealing with earlier.
Wait, what? A dungeon? Give me the laptop, Obama. It's time for Eorzea's best warrior to charge the depths of combat with axe in hand.
Actually, I was planning to run this first dungeon. After that, I think it'll be Joe's turn if he's ready to play.
What? That's not fair. You've had the laptop for a while now, and you know I'm most interested in the combat. I want to do the dungeons, Obama. Give me the laptop, gimme.
Starting to see why JD and Don Jr. still act like little kids.
Donald, stop getting so excited. There will be other dungeons. And besides, you'll have to spend time leveling up to run a dungeon now, so it's better to do that later when we're not recording.
This is not fair. Absolutely not fair.
Considering you designed our character and named him without any input, I think this is perfectly fair.
I tell you what, Don, after the recording, why don't you level your warrior up and then you can have the next dungeon? That's fair, right? Heck, we can even DoorDash some more McDonald's for you.
I can't, Joe. Tonight is finally my turn to give a speech. Saving the best and only important speaker for last.
It doesn't seem like you've been enjoying your convention so far, Don. I thought you enjoyed rallies, and this is really just a big, flashy mega rally.
I enjoy rallies because I get to give the speeches there. This week, all I get to do is sit and listen to people who aren't me giving speeches. It's honestly been very boring. I nearly fell asleep a few times. The only fun I had this week was watching Nikki Haley come crawling back to the Republican Party with her tail between her legs. That was almost worth the rest of the week.
You're not even listening to the other speeches? What have you been doing all week?
Suffering, Joe. Suffering. Listening to these speeches is almost as painful as listening to Ingrid Andress butcher the national anthem.
She already admitted she was drunk while performing. She's checking herself into rehab, Donald. Don't go too harsh on her.
Oh, so she's allowed to drag our national anthem through an off-pitch minefield, but I can't call her out for it simply because she's a lush. Think about who you're speaking to, Obama. I dry humped a flag on camera. I love America, and I love her anthem, the most amazing national anthem. Don't get me wrong, I'm glad Ingrid is going to get help, but I still think she should be called out for what she did.
My point is that she's taking responsibility for her actions.
She's just lucky it happened at the home run derby instead of an event people actually watch. If one of the 10 folks in the audience hadn't recorded it on their cell phone, none of us would have ever known.
Could you imagine if she'd been at the Super Bowl?
Joe, I already had one near-death experience this week. Don't scare me like that. Finally, with axe in hand, Eorzea's mightiest and best warrior takes to the dungeon.
Can you see the screen all right, Joe?
Yeah, it looks pretty good, actually. It's amazing you can stream this over Discord.
Into the pits of an unholy labyrinth I shall delve, swinging my majestic axe to cleave the despair and tyranny that festers upon this land. No foul beasts or lunatic cultists shall stay my hand, as I dish out true justice upon the land I love.
Before you ask, I can hear Donald, and yet I still find this really a great situation.
I figured you'd want to record with us somehow since you've been in self-quarantine for a while now. How are you feeling, though, Joe?
I'm all right, I guess, but COVID isn't the worst situation I'm dealing with right now. That said, I have to admit that after a few days basically alone, being able to spend some time, even just over Discord like this, with you and Don is really a welcomed change of pace.
What is this? Are these cultists trying to summon demons to stop Joe Obama Trump? Fear not, Gridania. I shall smite these unholy abominations in the name of Eorzea, and you'll be free to live your life humping trees and singing to birds in the woodlands once more.
I can definitely hear you too, but can Donald hear me?
I can hear you, Joe, but I'm busy saving the world right now. Priorities.
It's a game, Donald. You could show a little care for your friend.
Obama, I have to focus right now. Eorzea cannot save itself. I know you two don't understand, because you clearly didn't care to focus on being a president, but I have things that need to be done.
The only thing you focused on during your presidency was making the weekly tea time at Mar-a-Lago. And even with all that dedication, your handicap didn't go down at all.
Can't hear you, Joe. Smiting evil.
Whatever. I would be upset, but really, I'm just so amazed by the technology allowing us to do this. Do you remember when we were kids, Don? Black and white TVs were only just becoming popular. Computers were still really only known to a few universities and certainly not at home. And phones were still hooked through landlines with operators on the other end.
It is pretty wild to think how far we've come when you talk about it like that, Joe.
And in so short a time, too, Barack. In just one lifetime, we've moved from that to everyone in the world having one device in their hand that works like a phone, computer, and television all at once. We can hit a few buttons on that device and talk to someone on the other side of the world instantly. When I was a child, I'd never have imagined watching someone play a video game over the internet while talking to you two this way. It's absolutely amazing.
It really makes you wonder where we'll be in another few decades, doesn't it?
I prefer to think about the present myself. And presently I'm about to face off against some kind of eldritch squid monster. I wondered what happened to Al Franken after he resigned. The years haven't been good to you, Al. Not good at all.
It's good to see you're enjoying the combat more now, Donald. I take it the dungeons are more fun than what you experienced earlier?
I have to be honest, Joe. It is more fun, much more fun. I still only have a few abilities to use, but being in a situation with teammates, carrying them through pits of these catacombs and working together to take down a big boss was truthfully a delight. While the combat needs more to do, more abilities and animations, I have to say that doing a dungeon has given me a lot more hope for the future. I do like doing dungeons. I like working with other people too. It feels like a rally in a way, communicating and connecting with my voters.
You have no idea if they'd vote for you, Donald. They may not even be from the USA.
Do you really think they'd vote for Biden? Even the Democrats won't vote for Biden. No offense, Joe. But no one is voting for you. They all want you to step down. Even Obama wants you to step down.
Well, only because I'm worried about his health. If I'm being blunt, I doubt at this point any change would stop your momentum.
Do we have to talk about this? I'm really not in the mood, Donald.
Yeah, sorry, Joe. I know sometimes I can be really hard on you. Very critical. I only do it because, in my mind, you're a terrible president. Probably the worst. The very worst.
I'm waiting for the part where you say, but, and then something positive.
There is no but here, Joe. You're a terrible president.
Damn it, Donald. That's only your opinion. And why are you always such a jerk? Joe's already feeling bad. Why are you kicking him while he's down? Do you really need to make things worse?
Look, people don't like the truth, but sometimes we need to hear it. Joe is a great person, a wonderful person. But a lot of people, my people, feel he's done a terrible job as president. It's fair to let him know that because regardless of what Joe thinks he needs to know, the odds are stacked against him. And maybe, just maybe, he can fight those odds and rally, but I don't do a single thing to help him by sugarcoating or flat out lying to my friend about the reality of the situation he's facing.
I know your heart is in the right place, Donald, but let's change the subject. What is going on with this other group of adventurers, Obama?
I haven't really been reading, Joe. I'm sorry. Been trying to decide if I'm more frustrated with Donald or actually agreeing with his perverse wisdom.
I was reading, Joe. It seems that their tank died in the catacombs and the rest of the team is blaming the healer.
I guess everyone always wants to blame someone.
Pointless to blame them, though. The tank knew the risks, put their trust into that healer. Things didn't work out. Sometimes things don't work out. Life happens. All of life happens.
While I don't think dumping grief on the healer is smart, it can be helpful to know where you could make improvements so that such disasters could be avoided in the future.
So use the experience as a learning tool?
Exactly. Even for the best of us, the very best of us, not everything will work out. And that's why the truth is so important. You can't learn or even move forward if you can't accept the truth.
Yeah, I guess I can see the wisdom in that. Moving forward isn't always that easy, though.
Not easy, no, but it's better than stagnation and decay.
All this conversation actually reminds me of some of what I've been reading this week. Since I've had to be quarantined, I thought it'd be good to read up a bit more about Final Fantasy and this game in particular. Something to pass the time, I guess.
Look at this. DeSantis' dad is here to give me the next quest. Where do you want me to go, little Pappy D?
Little Pappy D? Really? Okay, so what have you learned from reading, Joe? Anything of interest?
A few things, actually. Did you know that this is actually the second MMO in the Final Fantasy series? 11 was the first, and it's still around today, though, with a much smaller player base.
So with one successful MMO, they decided to make a second and left the first one up? That seems incredibly rare and a little odd.
A bit. I think it's because 11 is a completely different style of game, closer to a sandbox style. The success of the game World of Warcraft inspired a second game that they call a theme park style, where you go from quest to quest through the world and a large storyline.
Is this game bigger than World of Warcraft now?
Back and forth, I believe. They're both very large and successful, though.
How very ironic that tiny Papa DeSantis would send me to massacre giants. Height jealousy is such a vicious thing. Why not do what your son Ron does, Pappy, and get some platform shoes? No worries, though. No matter how big my opponent is, Donald J. Trump is a fighter, a warrior, the best warrior.
So if they have two successful games, Joe, why did talk about failure remind you about this game?
Because when 14 first came out, it actually did terrible. It was not well made, had a lot of network and gameplay problems. People really didn't like it. They almost shut it down.
This is the first I ever heard of this, Joe. That's amazing. How did they salvage such a disaster?
Well, that's where the legacy of someone named Yoshi P begins. Instead of shutting the game down forever, Square Enix promoted Yoshi P to take over. He worked on the game in its original state at first, but then convinced his supervisors that the only route to success was to shut the game down entirely for a short period of time and relaunch with it rebuilt. So behind the scenes, while the bad version was up, they made a newer version, took the old down for almost a full year, but when it came back as a Realm Reborn, it was almost instantly a success.
Wait, a Realm Reborn? That's the vanilla story we're playing now, right? The name makes so much more sense now that I know the story.
It does, doesn't it? And even more interesting, as successful as the relaunch version was, it only grew more and more popular with each future expansion. The game just continues to grow, most people attributing it to the story and characters as the main reason, but also solid fun gameplay and good dungeon and raid design.
So in short, Square Enix took a game that was bound to fail and then successfully relaunched it, turning everything around. That had to be a hard choice to make.
And one only possible because they saw and heard the truth. The first version sounded terrible, absolutely terrible. Now the game is great. It's among the best the very best of games. You can't make a change like that without listening to the truth.
We get your point, Donald. I find it ironic, though, that you keep saying we have to listen to the truth, but when you lost to Joe before, you insisted it was cheating. Afraid to admit the truth yourself?
I have no idea what you're talking about, Obama. I do have to say, though, hearing the story of this game's history makes me think that this Yoshi P would be someone worth meeting. I'd love to meet him. Wouldn't you love to meet him? Taking a failure and turning it into gold? That's the type of person I admire. Someone just like me. He's the Donald J. Trump of gaming is what he is. Yoshi P. Trump.
Don't taint his legacy like that, Donald.
How is it tainting his legacy? Yoshi P. and Donald Trump are making Eorzea great again.
I think the COVID must be making me delusional because that actually made sense.
Speaking of delusion, we have another vision. What is this? Are we really daydreaming about someone buying a slab of meat? I take it all back. Yoshi P., if you want to be like me, you're going to have to step up your storytelling. Donald Trump tells the best stories, the very best stories. If I had been telling people in Butler about how I went to the market to buy a side of beef, then I'd have deserved to have been shot at.
You really have no filter at all, do you, Don? Not even for your own hardships?
Can't talk now, Obama. Slapping these ruffians upside the head with the flat side of my axe.
I guess we should be glad he's using the flat side this time.
Yeah, get your meat market manipulations off my street, thugs. Obama Trump won't stand for inflation and lies.
I'm worried you're taking the role-playing aspect of this game a bit too far, Donald.
Nonsense. This isn't a LARP, Obama. This is just how... Cat waifu!
You could hear his brain snap there, like fireworks going off.
I can't see Don's face, but I can hear the drool. Calm down, Donald. She's just a video game character.
Did Yoshi P design her? If he did, I'm going to fly over to Japan and shake the man's hand myself.
Please don't. Your handshakes are like miniature tug-of-war fights.
Why do you shake hands so hard, Donald?
Because shaking hands is a form of dominance, a struggle for power, the truest form of hand-to-hand combat, and Donald Trump will always win. Always. I'm not changing our name.
What are you on about now, Donald?
I'm not changing our name. Our name is perfect. I'm not changing it even if Zombie Joe decides to quit the channel like he just quit his presidency.
Donald, you bloated orange sack of hamburger meat. I didn't quit the presidency. I'm just not going to continue to run for a second term.
Well, maybe you should quit the presidency, Joe. You'd actually do less harm to our nation that way.
You two are really starting hot today. Cool off. Now, I'm trying to read what's going on, and listening to Statler and Waldorf argue in the balcony is just distracting.
Was that a Muppet Show reference, Barack?
How in all the known universe did your fuzzy old raisin brain catch that? You can't even remember your own name? How do you know the names of two vague Muppet characters?
I really like the Muppet Show.
Truthfully, very truthfully, so did I, Joe.
So you two have finally found some common ground? How about that?
Oh, that's the healer. The one whose party was blaming her for letting her tank die, isn't it, Barack? What does she want with us?
2 for 2 on the memory check, Joe. Seems she was wanting to meet us because she and her tank admired us. Her name is Etta, and she wants to become a strong adventurer like we are.
And so she should. Everyone should strive to be the very best. And when it comes to adventurers, Joe Obama Trump is the best. The very best. And that's why I refuse to change our name. We've already begun to build a legacy that will last throughout time.
Stop worrying so much, Don. You sound like a bully who's afraid of the new kid on the playground. Is Kamala that terrifying? Well, either way, you have my word that I'm not going to step down from recording these videos. If anything, I'm considering trying to do more now that I'll have some free time again.
Free time? Aren't you supposed to be running the country, Joe?
It mostly runs itself.
See? The very worst president.
And how much did you get done on the golf course, Donald? You're both awful. Maybe that's why you're afraid of Kamala,
I'm not afraid of Cuckoo Kamala. If Joe did nothing, she did less. The absolute less. What kind of border czar never even goes to the border? She's a complete joke. A very unfunny joke. No one is laughing. No one.
Well, anyway, now that Joe is feeling better, it really should be his turn to play.
Wait a minute. Wait just a minute. Why does that potato have a large stack of presents? Is this a quest? Can I get a large stack of presents too? I'm finding out.
Donald, it's really time to let Joe play.
It's fine, Barack. I don't really even know what I'd even do at this point. None of the combat classes we can play right now really speak to me.
Well, the easiest thing might be to play as one of the classes that Donald or I have been playing, warrior or summoner.
There's a casino! We're going! Right now, let's go!
I don't know. I guess I can try it out for a bit, but I think I'd rather just wait till I see a class that really speaks to me and then level up so I know what I'm doing. But, well, I guess for now I can try. Summoner looks interesting, I guess.
Okay, I can help you learn how to play, Joe.
How beautiful is that? Look at it. Look at it, Joe.
I see it, Donald.
It's like a brilliant beacon of light adrift in an ocean of sand, a statue of wealth. Give me your risk-takers, your middle class, your huddled masses of coin yearning to be tripled.
I'm starting to have severe second thoughts of letting Donald have the keyboard while visiting an in-game casino.
It's so beautiful. I think I may cry. Look at it, Barack.
Yes, I see it, Donald.
No, look at it. Look at these costumes. This is perfect, beautiful. I wonder if I could win one of these to give to Y'shtola.
Gross.
Let's look around. What is this? It looks like a card game. I'm great at card games. Blackjack, spades, poker, hearts, gin rummy.
Gin rummy? How old are you, Don?
Younger than you are, Joe. So much younger.
Older than Kamala? So much older. How's it feel to be the oldest hat in the race now? A 10-gallon hat, even.
Ha! Try to ruffle my feathers all you want, Grandpa Joe, but this peacock has the strut when it comes to card games. I don't even know the rules, and I taught that dealer a lesson. Never mess with Donald J. Trump. Let's play again.
Gonna let it ride while you have the hot hand?
Always, Barack. It's the... What is that? Why is her card so much stronger than any of my cards? That's not fair. I demand a recount.
Looks like our peacock just became a pigeon.
That game was rigged. Rigged worse than the elections. Well, whatever. I'm gonna go find other games to play.
Okay, so how does this game work, Donald? It looks like a scratch card of some sort.
Exactly. You can see the point payout on the side, and it's very obvious I want to get the numbers 1, 2, 3. Just like this. No! Okay, well, we get 2 more tries.
So 2 more failures.
You would know about failure, Sleepy Joe. Here we go. No! Okay, 1 more try. Well, that's not even fair. Now I have no chance to win at all.
Flashback to 2020, Don?
Yes, because so far all these games are rigged. Let's go look around some more. Is this a carnival game? Now, we're cooking! I'm the very best at these games. I think this one is a basketball game. Let me show you the skills that would have made the New York Knicks the world champions. Almost. One more. Let me try again. Dang it!
I have to agree with Donald for once. These are the skills worthy of the New York Knicks.
I don't see you doing any better, Obama. Let me try again.
Neither of us can do any better because you have the laptop, Donald.
Swish!
Brick. Brick. Brick.
Nothing but net. A perfect finish.
You and I need to have a discussion on the definition of the word perfect sometime.
I have to say, Yoshi P knows how to decorate a beautiful casino. Look at this statue. This is a literal golden god before me. This must be the owner of the casino. He looks strong and smart. Very smart.
How smart is it to have a statue of yourself in nothing but underwear?
With a figure like that, it's brilliant, Joe. In fact, I think later I'm going to commission a statue of myself just like this for Trump Tower. It'll inspire everyone to see it to become their very best, just like Donald J. Trump.
Please, and I mean this sincerely, please make your statue wear clothes.
Truly, though, this place is drowning in drip, both with the interior design as well as the very lovely outfits. Just imagine if the casinos on the Strip offered such luxurious eye candy.
While such uniforms may be allowable in a video game, Donald, I strongly doubt that any casino in America could get away with enforcing this type of dress code in the real world.
Oh, this is awful. Never mind, I take it all back. No one ever wanted to see a Nerf football in a Playboy bunny outfit. This is just an absolute blasphemy.
Donald, I know I'm going to regret asking this, but do you not see how judging people based on their body type is offensive?
It's only offensive to people that can't admit that they're not the generalized standards of beauty. Not all of us can be tan, with flowing golden locks of hair and piercing eyes.
You mean an orange-colored toupee with tiny hands?
My hands are not small.
Is this a game, Don?
I think it's an event here. It looks like it may be a jumping puzzle. Sit back and watch, Joe, because I'm the best puzzle jumper. The very best puzzle jumper.
Watch out for those bombs, Donald.
I've already figured that out, Barack. Stop trying to distract me. Jumping puzzles take constant...
The very best puzzle jumper.
Hush, Joe. At least I can still jump. Even Criss Cross couldn't make your old bones jump. Jump! Now watch me climb this mountain to the very tippy top.
If I'm being honest, this looks like the beginner's version of jumping puzzles. I'm not sure you should be all that proud, Donald, especially given you keep falling.
I didn't fall all the way this time, and let me correct you. No matter how hard a jumping puzzle is or is not, victory is always something to celebrate. I take pride in that which I achieve, no matter how trivial. And on that note, be free, little chicken thing. You're safe now.
So in short, you have an overly healthy ego, Don?
Immaculately healthy ego and proud of it, Joe.
So have you seen all there is to see now, Donald?
I think there are other games I could play, but this is good enough for now. I can always come back another time later. Overall, I'd say I really like this place. It may be my favorite part of this game so far.
Is that the proprietor of this casino? Look at his hair. Apparently you've already inspired someone, Donald, because he's rocking your due.
Yeah, Don's hairstyle and Elton John's best dress. What a combination.
I hate this place. I want to leave now.
So you're the adventurer of whom I've heard so much.
Indeed we are.
Well met, friend. My name is Minfilia, and I lead the Scions of the 7th Dawn.
And we are Joe Obama Trump, Eorzea's mightiest warrior, the very mightiest warrior. You may all bow now, I'll wait.
Shush, Donald. She's still talking. She may very well be trying to tell us something important right now.
I highly doubt that, Obama. This game's story has been a lot of talk and very little substance, like watching CNN, nothing but fake news. I mean, in all the time we've been playing, can you think of anything that we've learned that's vital information? Anything at all?
Well, no, not when you put me on the spot like that.
So much for listening to the conversation, I guess.
Simmer down, Sleepy Joe. The conversation that matters is the one involving me, Donald J. Trump. These scones of the dawn or whatever don't matter, except my cat waifu. She very much matters. The rest of them are just a watered-down version of the Justice League. Yeah, they're just that old cartoon, The Super Friends. Remember that show?
Oh, don't remind me of that Saturday morning trash. They actually had characters on there named Black Vulcan and Apache Chief. It was progressive for its time, sure, but it was some of the most backhanded progression to exist. No one calls Flash the White Flash. It's just insulting.
I really hope one of you two is at least reading this since you're talking all over it.
Wait, actually, I think Joe has a point now. They're talking about something important now, I think. Everyone be quiet for a
Tell
bit.
me, have you ever experienced a sudden, inexplicable loss of consciousness? Have you ever had the sensation of being pulled away from reality? Felt as though you were hovering in space? A mind without a body?
Why are you staring at me so hard, Don?
All these
You
things
know why,
are the
Zombie Joe? You very
manifestations
much
of
know
your
why?
talent. Yours is the power to transcend the boundaries of the soul, a power known as the Echo. The Echo allows you to pass through the walls of a man's soul and hear the resonations of his past.
I think she's talking about the visions we've been having, though, Donald. The ones that upset you so much. Those times we see moments in the past. She called it the echo. I guess it's a rare ability only a few people have.
Well, then it's no wonder we have it. We're the most important people in all of Eorzea. Of course, we'd have the Echo, even if it is a terrible, truly terrible power. It's worse than having Aquaman's powers. On the list of powers, seeing the memories of people buying mole meat has to be, guess what, really at the very, very bottom.
Well, it seems like it does more than just let us see the past. It also protects us from some powerful beings they call the Primals. I guess this group fights these Primals, and that's why they're trying to recruit us. Because we have the Echo.
We're in.
What the hell, Donald? You made your mind up fast. We don't even know what we're facing.
Doesn't matter what we face. Be it Primal or a liberal DEI candidate or anything else, Joe Obama Trump will triumph. I have no doubt. All that really matters is we get to spend more time with my cat waifu.
Well, we might know what we're facing if you'd shut the hell up, Don. Really, I just wanted to listen to this cutscene. Why are you two talking so much?
Joe, you're like the person that goes to the Olympic Games just to see Lady Gaga perform.
Well, it was a good performance.
I wouldn't know. I have better things to watch than some lame opening ceremony. Although I did see a clip of Snoop Dogg carrying the torch. It was pretty great. That torch was huge too. I can only imagine how many blunts he's going to be lighting with that thing now.
That would be a gross misuse of such a precious item. That said, I imagine you're right. It is the Snoop after all. The D-O-double-G. He probably started lighting the first doobie up the minute his leg of the walk was done.
I think they're introducing everyone now.
No one cares, Joe. Obama, do you care?
Well,
See? No one cares, Sleepy Joe. These are just bit players in our show. The only person that really matters is Eorzea's best warrior and our catgirl waifu. It's kind of how everyone knows about Batman and Superman, and then there's just all those other super friends, like Black Vulcan.
The worst part about that character is they made him up for the show because they couldn't get the rights to use their original character, Black Lightning, on the show.
Wait, DC Comics already had a character named Black Lightning? And they replaced him with an equally terribly named character, Black Vulcan?
Yes.
And you two say that I'm racist?
Well, you are, Donald.
Not that racist, though. I mean, you don't see me calling Barack Black Obama.
Thankfully. Though, wouldn't the more accurate metaphor be if you were calling me Black President, since Obama is my name and President was my job?
Donald?
Don't tell me you actually call me that, Donald.
Only once or twice, but always privately.
That doesn't make it okay, Donald.
I can't believe I have to be the voice of reason here, but cool off, you two. I mean, honestly, Barack, are you surprised?
Still doesn't make it okay.
Don't pretend like you haven't called me Orange President before.
Not yet, but I think I'm going to start Orange President.
Well, that backfired.
All right. Well, in an effort to move on, let's just move on. The last bit of that was telling us they want our first mission to be in a town where people have started to go missing. They think the local beast tribe is involved. We need to figure out where these people are going and stop it from happening so they can't summon their primal.
No problem. Just slide me the laptop, Sleepy Joe, and...
No, we already talked about this, Orange President. It's Joe's turn to play now. You wasted your time at the casino.
That was not a waste. Giving Joe the laptop is a waste. There's no way his wrinkled stick fingers can play this game.
I can play just fine, Don. I just haven't played yet, so I'm a little nervous about combat. I haven't really had the practice at the game that you two have had. And if I'm honest, Summoner doesn't really speak to me. But I'm going to try my best.
That's right, Joe. Give it the old college try.
Yes, tap back as far as you can into your memories, Zombie Joe, and pretend like you're in college again, getting those flat 2.0 grades at the University of Delaware.
Actually, it's not hard to recall my time earning a Juris Doctor at Syracuse, given I'm sitting right next to our mascot all the time. Anyway, I have to go check on this caravan that hasn't arrived. Is that the purple zone over there? This isn't so bad. What are those? Okay, I need, never mind, I'm running away.
Joe, don't run.
He's heard enough of that phrase lately, Obama. Now listen up, you scrawny haversack of twigs and lawn mulch. You get that book out, summon the fires of courage from your bowels, and march right back in there and take those lizard men out like a real president. You're the 46th president of these great states of America, and you can take down some ugly lizard wannabes.
Yeah, you're right, Don. I'm going to bully someone else for a change.
Summon your carbuncle first.
Oh, thanks, Barack. Okay, let me just teach you two a lesson.
Just picture them as Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer trying to bully you out of the race. Show them your indomitable pride.
I may be old and maybe I don't speak as well as I used to, but I'm the president. This is my White House. You two get off my lawn.
Spoken like the angry old man on the front porch, Grandpa Joe.
You all right, Joe?
That just felt so good. No wonder you yell at everyone, Don.
I think you might have awoken a demon, Orange President.
It's Joe. Eventually he'll go back to sleep. Just wait it out.
So, Joe, you seem to be getting the hang of combat now.
Getting the hang of it, Obama? The pale old goat has been slaughtering lizard men for the last 2 hours. I don't even think he's doing story anymore. He's just become obsessed with mauling anything on two legs that looks at him funny.
That's hyperbole, Don, and the proof is the fact I haven't mauled you yet. I'm just really getting into combat. This game is pretty therapeutic.
I don't know why you're complaining anyway, Donald. You've used the break to make a run to McDonald's. If anything, we should be complaining you didn't bring back something for all of us.
I don't run a food bank, Obama. I said where I was going before I left. If you wanted something, you had a chance to say so and give me money first.
Again, I feel compelled to point out that you're a multi-billionaire. You could easily afford to cover a snack for your friends.
It's a slippery slope that leads to communism. One day you're handing out free McRibs, and the next day the pigs are getting drunk on whiskey and sleeping in human beds. Mark my words, Barack. Your socialist dreams of a free lunch are going to get Sleepy Joe here sent off to the glue factory.
Fine, fine. Next week, I'll just bring some snacks of my own, maybe some Cool Ranch Doritos.
You would like Cool Ranch, gross.
Okay, I think I'm ready to continue the story now, especially if it means Don will quit complaining. I think Thancred wanted this scroll from me or something. I'm going to go get a bottled water while they talk. Just recap it for me when I get back, Barack.
We've created a monster, a confident monster with a craving for gaming violence. Mark my words, Barack, he's going to be asking to play GTA soon.
You created the monster. I just let him have a turn on the laptop.
That's sophistry and you know it?
Where did you learn a word like that, Donald?
Word a day calendar.
All right, looks like the cutscene is done. What did I miss?
Right, well, seems that someone is pretending to be a religious leader of some type and using these fake pamphlets and false hope to lead the downtrodden paupers to their doom, or probable doom. I don't believe we've confirmed that last part, but definitely kidnapping.
More kidnapping? What is going on in Eorzea? Don't they have police? Where are Eorzea's finest? Have the hippies of Gridania been pushing defund the police policies so pointedly that they've left the populace without protection?
Good to hear the alliteration again. Kind of missed it.
Why do you just assume it'd be Gridania? And I don't think there's a standard police force, though there are guards, so you know what, I'm not sure what is going on. Maybe there is something fishy behind the scenes.
Speaking of fishy, Obama, why are we just doing whatever Aquaman here says?
His name is Thancred.
No one cares what his name is. Look at him. Look at him. That's the face of a man that thinks he's far more important than he really ever will be. Mark my words, Obama. After this quest helping him, we're never going to see this living dandruff flake again. There is no chance he's going to be important in this story. Absolutely no chance.
He does kind of look like a loser. Not as bad as J.D. Vance, but as Don likes to say, he's at the tippy top of the list.
It's bad enough you insult my running mate. Don't steal my lingo too, Joe.
Either way, it was Thancred's idea to dress up as the poor wretches being targeted and wait to see who is behind all this. And it looks like his plan worked out. Seems we found the guilty party.
Busted! Wait a minute. Wait just 1 minute. I recognize that ugly mug. That's the guy that was threatening the lady in Ulda over some cruddy old mole meat. Remember that, Joe? When I slapped his hired help around like the two-bit thugs they are?
Oh, yeah, I do remember that now, where we had that really long flashback about how many refugees are flooding Ulda, and you got your tidy-whities in a pinch because it was such a boring vision.
Donald J. Trump proudly wears boxers in the style of the grand old flag. stars on one leg, stripes on the other, except on Sundays. I go commando on Sundays, so I'm closer to the way God made me. In His image, beautiful as you can see.
And now I'm glad you didn't get me McDonald's after all, because after hearing that, I'm sure my stomach did a barrel roll. There is no world, real or fantasy, that I ever needed to know. Wait, we record on Sundays.
Every Sunday this month so far.
Wait, today is Sunday.
And I feel breezy, free, and happy as a chipmunk with a jelly bean jar.
I'm going to be sick. Joe, can we move recording days to Saturday?
What? Donald said something about his boxers, and I just let my ears stop working for a while.
You can do that?
At my age, Barack, I have to really focus to make sure things are working in the first place, so it's actually very easy to turn my sense off.
That sounds amazingly helpful in a very, very odd way.
Back to the story.
I can't believe you, of all people, want to focus on the story here.
Well, it's the boring story of this game, or the inane mutterings of a half-dead donkey and his bitter caretaker. I'll take the story, thank you very much.
Right, well, the story is that Thancred is going to take this jerk to the authorities.
So we finally get to see the cops here in action. I hope when they put him in the back seat of the carriage, they're not too gentle with him, if you get my drift.
Don, are you trying to start another defund the police protest?
All I'm saying is that this guy has caused plenty of trouble in the short amount of time that we played the game. First, he's harassing people on the streets. Now he's behind a bunch of kidnappings. This is not a good man. Not a good man at all.
He still deserves to be treated like a human being.
This coming from the man who failed to close down Guantanamo Bay. There are bad people out there. Eorzea isn't giving us only their best. Some are fine people, I'm sure, but not all. Not all of them.
Drop it, you two. Don't make me turn off my hearing again. I'm curious about what is going on here because it looks like we're letting him wander free or something. Or are we in an ambush of some kind?
Obama, explain.
Donald, learn to read.
Wait, are those more lizard people? Do I get to kill more lizard people?
Should we sprinkle him with holy water?
Maybe, but to explain what's going on, seems Jerkface was working for the Lizardmen, kidnapping for them. So we're going to ambush them.
The blood of many a betrayer shall be spilled this day.
Actually, wait. Did they betray us? Look at that, Obama. There was a traitor in the armed forces, too. No wonder the protectors of Eorzea failed to protect anyone.
Not to beat a dead horse, but maybe we should defund the police.
I'm not agreeing with you, not agreeing at all, but maybe this time you're right, but only this time.
Death to the betrayers.
Okay, Joe, you've gone too far now. I'm starting to get a little scared. It's one thing to be happy as a raccoon with a honey jar, but this is just a bit too much.
What is with the references to animals holding food jars today?
Can't talk now. Slaughtering the backstabbers.
Wait, Joe, are you enjoying combat because you're picturing the lizards as other Democrats who pushed for you to step down?
Adam Schiff, you sniveling weasel. Get slapped upside the head by my magic chipmunk. It's a more refreshing taste than the heel of Nancy's boot you're always licking.
That answers that question.
I vote we take the laptop away after this fight, Obama. I'm starting to worry that his dementia is taking over and he actually blurring reality now.
Well, you made the suggestion he visualized, Donald. This whole mess is your fault.
I was trying to help him get over his fears. Everyone treats Joe with little kitty gloves. Someone needed to give him a positive push. He's just taken it too far. Far too far.
Don't think I didn't see your comments after the debate, Claire McCaskill. Now face my ruin firsthand. How's it taste, you old hag? Ha 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 ha.
All right, Donald, you keep him distracted and I'll call Jill. She'll know what to do. This can't be the first time Joe's lost his mind.
Why don't we just call Michelle to come over here and put him in a chokehold? I'm sure she can knock him out.
First, I don't think a chokehold on a senior citizen is a good idea. And second, why would we need my wife instead of me?
Her arms are bigger, very much bigger.
Fair point.
Wait, what's going on? Why is the fight stopping? I can still fight. I can still fight.
Did they just hit you with bubbles, Joe? Bubbles? That's the power that stopped your senile rampage? Barack, remind me to bring a toy bubble gun next time we record.
Oh, hey, Don. Did you mention a bubble gun? I haven't played with bubbles since Bo and Hunter were little kids. Simpler times back then. I'm not sure my lungs could blow bubbles now, but a bubble gun sounds fun, as long as it's chemically safe.
Oh, thank God he's back. The demon has gone to sleep again.
No offense, Joe, but I think I'll just take the laptop for now.
Oh, sure, Barack. Combat is okay, but I don't think a magic class is really for me. It was nice to get a turn, though. Thanks.
Yeah, sure thing, Joe.
Joe, out of curiosity, if you saw a raccoon on the White House lawn, what would you do?
I'd run away. Those hairy little monsters look cute until they jump at you and try to claw and bite. They carry tons of diseases. I'm not getting rabies from a trash panda. But I would ask the Secret Service officers to be gentle when they escort him off the lawn.
Never change again, Sleepy Joe. Never change again. I am yours in badass. Watch me kick. You can vote for Trump or you can suck my dick.
Donald, why did you do that?
Do what, Obama? Drop sick beat so hot it'll melt Sleepy Joe's ice cream? Because I'm spitting fire on the mic. Call me Donald Two Chains.
I will not call you that. But that's not what I meant. Why are you cursing? Now I'm going to have to edit that.
Edit? Censorship? This is America, Obama. Land of the free. Freedom of speech. You can't censor me. Liberty or death.
What the hell, Don? Why are you so wired up today? Did something crawl into your toupee and die?
Sorry. I've just been upset ever since that horrible Rachel Scott was so rude to me during my interview. Not even a hello or a how are you before she started taking shots at my integrity and character. She made me sound like a racist from the first words out of her mouth. I've never been treated so badly in all my life.
I sincerely doubt you've not been treated worse, but regardless, wasn't that interview with the National Association of Black Journalists? And didn't you immediately accuse Kamala Harris of choosing to be black at that same interview? I don't think she was very out of line.
It was a very rude introduction, the most rude. And no president has done more or been more beloved by the black population than Donald Trump. Not one.
You do realize Barack is sitting right there?
We're not going down this rabbit hole. I refuse. I don't care if being asked hard questions and taking responsibility for what you say is upsetting. All I care about right now is that you stop using curse words.
Why the f do I have to censor myself? This is bullshit. Obama, don't tread on me.
Donald, we all agreed before even starting to record that we'd be family friendly. That means no cussing. You already agreed to this, or did you forget, old man Orange?
Donald?
Well, find me in the
Donald.
Last one. Promise. Probably. What is that fire lizard demon monster? Joe, is this the thing that possessed you recently?
Something possessed me?
Donald, we agreed we weren't going to talk about that. He's talking nonsense, Joe. Just ignore him. This is the Primal that we were trying to stop them from summoning. Seems we dropped the ball on that one.
I think we're going to die.
No way, Sleepy Joe. No giant barbecued chihuahua is killing the Eorzean badass this day. Donald J. Trump will whip out his majestic axe and sunder doom upon this.
Actually, I have the laptop right now, Donald.
What? Why are you always getting to do the fun stuff?
You think facing off against that Primal is fun?
You don't?
Well, either way, it's time to fight, so let's see how this goes. The timer was longer for other players, so I chose to use NPCs this time. Gives us a chance to see how that goes.
If it's just a bunch of computer-controlled players, that means you're going to have to do all the heavy lifting, Obama.
And I guess it's good that I'm the one doing the lifting and not one of you rickety old men. I doubt either of your geriatric backs could carry much anymore.
Well, we all know Zombie Joe can't carry his party any longer. Had to hand it off to Kamala to take care of. But Donald J. Trump can carry the whole MAGA movement, the Republican Party, this whole nation. And I'm carrying this channel too, just for good measure.
I think it's cute that you think you're the sole reason people watch our videos.
Don't pretend like it's not, Obama. I'm the president with the most riz, the very most riz.
I don't know if you have the most riz, Don, but you sure do talk the most. And half the time it's to say stupid things like claiming you have the most riz.
You're just jealous because it's Joe over for you, but I'm the one that's over with the people. Everyone is in love with Donald Trump. No Diddy.
Oh my God. Can you please stop talking like a TikToker?
Pay attention to the fight, Obama. Did you see that summon nail thing? I think you have to kill it. Hurry.
I'm on it, Donald. Oh, that's not good. That knockback may have cost us.
What did I say about carrying the load, Obama? Hurry, hurry!
Oh, that's not good. I don't think we broke that nail in time.
Talk about Joe over. Epic fail on that one, Barack.
This smolder iguana may not have any riz, but he has the sizz. Enough sizz to roast you and your marshmallow squirrel, Obama. Way to let Eorzea down.
Don't dogpile on me. Okay, Well, now we know what to do. We'll get it this time.
We better. If you fail like that again, I'm going to take the laptop and show you how a real warrior deals with an upstart chew toy.
Or I could...
No, Joe. You just had a turn where we're just going to let Donald handle it if I can't finish this fight off.
Well, I guess that's fair. I may spend some time, though, off the camera to level up a class for me to play. I was looking at the options, and I found one that I was interested in trying.
Is that a ringtone? Is that your ringtone, Donald?
Oh, sorry. I thought I had it muted. It's from JD, though, so maybe I should answer it real quick. I'll try not to take up too much time. Go for Trump.
Hey, Dad. Sorry to bother you, but DJ and I had a question that we need your input on.
I've told you not to call me Dad, JD.
Who is DJ?
Donald Jr. They realize they have the same initials, and so now they call each other JD and DJ. Honestly, they're like little kids half the time. What is your question, JD?
Well, we were talking about places to hold rallies next month. DJ really wants to do one in North Carolina, but I think we need to place some focus on Arizona and Nevada.
Those are good choices. Just schedule a rally in all three.
Oh yeah, that's what we're gonna do, don't worry.
Then what's the question? Why are you bothering me?
There, got the nail this time.
Nice job, Barack. Just close it out now. You've got this.
What are you doing, Dad? Did I just hear Joe Biden?
No, you didn't. Your hearing is going bad. Now stop calling me Dad, and what is your question?
Anyway, while we were discussing which states to focus on, we got into a debate about who would win in a fight, Superman or Goku.
That is the question?
Yeah. We can't decide, so we thought we should ask you, Dad.
Don't call me Dad. I'm hanging up now.
But who would win?
Did you hang up on him without answering?
Of course I did. That was a no-win situation. If I tell them Goku would win, I was going to disappoint one of the kids. I need them both at their most loyal and focused.
They're debating about a fight between Goku and Superman. I don't see how their focus can get any worse right now, Donald.
More importantly, did you say Goku would win? I'm surprised at you, Don. We grew up on Superman, comics, cartoons, movies, even that old black and white TV show when we were kids. You remember that, don't you? I know you had to have watched it. Everyone did.
Look, Sleepy Joe, I'm not saying Superman isn't strong. He is very much strong. But Goku can go Super Saiyan 3, Super Saiyan Blue even. It would take a whole mob of Supermans to beat Goku at this point. His power is off the charts.
3? Blue? I know about Super Saiyan, but what is all this other stuff?
See, Grandpa Joe? That's why you can't be trusted to answer such an important question as this. Clearly, you don't stay up to date on all the various Super Saiyan forms and just how powerful they can be. Superman could have kept up with original Super Saiyan form, but there's no way he'd beat Goku in Super Saiyan Blue form. Absolutely no way.
Yeah, my bad on that, Donald. Was so busy, running the country, dealing with real problems like the Ukraine and the Gaza Strip. I just can't make time for metaphorical debates on superpowered beings that don't exist.
And that's why it's Joe over. You have to relate with people at their level, their interests. Failure to do that is why you lack Riz, Joe.
Oh, look, Thancred finally showed up again. Where has he been?
Look at that jerk trying to steal our thunder. Showing off like he did something. I really don't like him, Sleepy Joe. I'll be glad when he's out of our hair. Honestly, it's too bad he wasn't here for us to feed to that roasted Geico lizard.
I don't know, Don. He doesn't seem so bad. I imagine he was just trying to help. I bet deep down he's a real good guy.
No offense, Zombie Joe, but I have a hard time believing you're a good judge of character.
Fair point. I do hang out with you, after all.
Is that your ringtone again?
Yeah, just going to send it to voicemail this time and mute it. Sorry about that.
That's fine, but is your ringtone really a MIDI file of Kid Rock?
It is. I'm surprised you recognized it, Obama. I didn't peg you for a fan of his.
I'm not really a fan, no, but I know the song. Why are you using a MIDI, though? Why not just use the actual song?
Because I got the MIDI on a website for free. Free is the best price of all, Obama. The very best price.
I won't argue that, but it sounds awful compared to the song. You could get the song for just 99 cents. Why not spend the 99 cents?
For a ringtone, when I can get this MIDI for free? Let me tell you what else is 99 cents. A large Diet Coke at McDonald's. If I were to spend $1 on something, I'm going to at least make it worth the buck.
Why are you so cheap?
I prefer frugal.
Didn't Kid Rock perform at your national convention? If you know him personally, why not just ask for a copy of the MP3? That would be free too.
Free, yes, but also a handout. And this great nation is not built on the backs of handouts and wasted money. It's built on hard work and manual labor and the American dream.
Why am I always surprised at how cheap you are?
Frugal.
Cheap.
Thank you for watching the video, our video. Be sure to slap the like and subscribe buttons if you want to help make Eorzea great again. Slap them hard. Very, very hard.